the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, Your Call to Action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Welcome back, everyone. Isn't it fun and exciting to listen to all these inspirational stories? This is one of the reasons why I do Stories of Hope. I love talking to people, being influenced and educated by people that are out there doing these great things, and then giving them to you so that you too can be inspired the same way that I am. My next guest today is Lydia Knorr. Has over 25 years in the health and wellness industry. This is perfect. Formerly as a registered dietitian, working in education and media, and is currently a speaker, a writer, and a wellness coach. Following some pivotal life experiences that included being widowed without warning, navigating cancer, and a period of unhealthy coping mechanisms, Lydia began to incorporate a holistic approach to well-being that focused on the health of her body, mind, and soul. The benefits she realized prompted her to create her signature program, Discovering You, Your Own Uniqueness, where she delivers keynotes and workshops in the areas of personal growth, connection to self, and positive change. She helps people get to the heart of what they truly value and empowers them to embody a whole health approach to living that results in a thriving, purposeful, fulfilling existence. Lydia was also recently published in the best-selling compilation book, Ignite Your Inner Spirit, which can be purchased on her website at www.lydiaknorr.com or through Amazon. Welcome to the show, Lydia.
Well, thank you for that. That was lovely. And you said it all. I'm just going to say it a little bit bigger so I can share with your audience the kind of how I got to where I got to, everything that you just shared in my bio. Yeah, you know what? For 25 years, I was in the business of health and wellness as a registered dietitian, and I walked the talk. I loved my work, and I had some super highlights within my career. One which was around education, where I got to teach at my alma mater, up and coming young dietitians, which was a huge highlight. And then further to that, working in media as a media dietitian. And why those two, elements or aspects of my career were such highlights was because it got me engaging with people in real time. I got to have a live captive audience, and I got to really see the uptake of the messaging, and I really, really thrived on that. And so that was something that really stuck with me as a highlight, engaging with people and having a platform to engage in a live setting. And I remember about 2 decades into my career, though, I started feeling this restlessness within. I started thinking, I think there's more I'm meant to be doing with my life. And I felt a little guilty even voicing that out loud, but I had a great marriage with my husband. And I said, look, you know what? This has nothing to do with you and I and anything that we've created, but I'm feeling restless from inside. I feel like there's more I'm meant to be doing. I'm almost a little bit unhappy on the inside. And he had this great way of simplifying things and dumbing them down and saying, you know what? Just do what makes you happy. And then I remember he said one other thing to me, which didn't really resonate at the time until much later, but then it became the game-changing thing that really changed my life and shifted me to the place where I'm at today. He said, just enjoy the moment. He said, don't spend so much time, trying to recapture memories from the past or focusing on what it is you need to do, to answer this restlessness you're feeling within. Just enjoy the moment. I'm like, okay, well, great. I'll take that and park that in my back pocket, and I'll just keep figuring this out, as I go along my business. At the same time, though, he was also, rising, in his career, working very, very hard, traveling a ton, across multiple time zones. And over time, I could really see how he was getting tired and it was wearing on him, to the point where I said to him one day, I'm really worried about you. And he said, it's a grind, but it's okay. You know what? This is a period of time, and then I'll build a business to a point where I don't need to be doing this kind of travel anymore. So one day I drop him at the airport, and he's on a 5-day whirlwind trip to China. And I remember my heart being so heavy as I watched him walk away in the rearview mirror, thinking, there he goes on another trip that he just doesn't have the energy for. And 3 days later, my phone rang at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I saw the name of his boss on the caller ID, and I jumped out of bed. And my first thought was, he's had a heart attack. I know it. But never did I expect to hear the words that were spoken to me. When his boss said in a broken voice, we don't know what happened, but Mike is dead.
Oh, wow. Wow.
In a manner of moments, I became a widow, and I became the sole parent to 3 girls, aged 14, 15, and 11 at that time. And I hung up the phone, and I just crawled over to his side of the bed, and I wanted to wrap myself so closely in him, get his smell, get his essence, find, some way of connecting to him. And I remember feeling his angst. I didn't know what happened. I didn't have any details around what the circumstances were around his death. I just knew that he was found dead in his hotel room, on a morning where he didn't come down for a meeting. And
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, did he know what happened? Was he aware? Was he scared? Did he die in his sleep? I didn't have any answers, but I could feel a sense of angst, and I could feel that he would have fought this to the end if he was aware of what was happening. And as I'm sitting here with all of these thoughts swirling in my mind, Kornelia, all of a sudden, I just feel this incredible sense of love and warmth and gratitude. My mind is going back to places that, in our early days dating and to the life we created as a family. And I'm feeling such enormity of gratitude and love in my heart. And I know in this moment that something bigger is at work in my life, because how is it in the face of such devastating news that I am feeling such a connection and so much love and warmth? And from deep, deep within, I know I'm going to be okay. So I know that something bigger is at work in my life. Now, I'm not going to gloss over the months and the years that followed my husband's passing and not say for a second that they weren't some of the hardest days of my life. But what I will say is that connection to something bigger than me was something that I wanted to bring more of into my life. I wanted to explore it further. I wanted to try and bring this into my life on a regular basis. And so what that looked like for me was reading about spirit and what happens, and about connecting to the universe and more higher energy, something bigger than yourself. It looked like journaling for me, and it looked like spending an inordinate amount of time in nature. And that was the turning point for me, because I remember one day sitting by the water in somewhat of a meditative trance-like state, very quiet, not thinking about anything. And in that moment, I realized I was completely peaceful. And I realized that that is what my husband meant when he said, be present. Because when you're present and you're peaceful, that was that missing piece. That was that inner restlessness. That was that happiness from within that I was searching for. And I found it by being really, really present. And so I, again, in the next moment, and it's amazing how the life connects these dots for you when you look back on where you came from and where you are today. I realized that my love of speaking from a stage and engaging with people and having, that energy exchange was something that I was meant to take and now share a different message. Where before it was around health and well-being, now it was about nourishing your inner well-being, that a whole healthy living approach starts from the inside out. And so that's the work I do. That's how discovering you, because for me, it was about discovering me, discovering my inner essence. And from there, I developed a program called Discovering You, your own uniqueness, so that you can tap into that part of yourself where there's a centeredness, a groundedness, a knowingness, where you're rooted in who you are. And so that you can show up and be strong in every facet of your life. And it all began with gratitude. It began with finding gratitude in the face of pain. And that opened my world up to discovering you.
You are an incredible storyteller. That needs to
Thank
be
you.
actually, that needs to be like as a skill on your bio, that the way that you told the story, the way that you tell the story, has you captivated, has me captivated, has me sitting at the edge of my seat in a wow, because I didn't, the way you told the story, it was definitely, you had me drawn in. So this is something
Thank
that's
you.
a skill, because people heal through
Thank you.
stories. And so I just wanted to
Yes.
tell you that. Thank you for sharing that beautiful, incredible story. I know that wasn't easy, your beloved husband, but also, you talked about how you had such incredible peace and, felt such overwhelming warmth and love when you were, thinking about the memories that you had created with him before in the past, which, and at the same time knowing, he's not here anymore, and at the same time knowing you're going to be okay and it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so your
Yeah.
your Discovering You program. Tell us a little bit in just in a minute, like what can people expect from that program?
Absolutely. Well, I offer keynotes and workshops in, helping people connect to themselves. It's really about personal growth, connection to self, and positive change. And the way in which I do that, which is sort of a little bit more relatable than that whole long journey I took to finding my inner spirit, is by aligning with your core values. I think it's really important. And I target women. I target the women like me before all of this happened in my life who are restless within, searching for that something more, knowing that there's more, because there are so many outside influences in our lives, right? So, in order to get really rooted in who you are and live a life that feels thriving and purposeful, I coach people on how to align with their core values because they also shift at different times in your lives. So, you need to recognize that there will be, at different moments in your life, things that you value more than you may have at another point in your life. And so,
That's
I
true.
coach people through a whole core values workshop and then teach them how to align those things that they really value into their lives on a regular basis so that they can live a life that feels thriving and purposeful and authentic and whole.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I totally feel all of that energy. I highly recommend anyone that is at this stage in their life and they're ready to really get in contact with their inner essence to connect
Yeah.
with you and,
Thank you.
align with the Discover You program. I love that.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming on today. You're getting ready to go celebrate the holidays with your daughter in Whistler. Is that right?
I'm gonna just take in a few days of skiing, just before Christmas. I still have 2 girls at home here with me, so
Oh,
I'm doing a bit of both. I'm doing cross province, cross country, visits before Christmas, yeah.
oh, good, good. Do you want to give us the website and the social media handles?
Yes, absolutely, I'd love to, thank you again. You can connect with me on my website at lydiaknorr.com or via Instagram at discovering_y period O period U period underscore at discovering you, and, I would love to hear from you.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and for coming into the show today. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Cornelia Stephanie Show, Stories of Hope. I have with us Dr. Don Menge. She has won 41 international awards. I had to look, is this really true?
Yeah.
What? 41 international awards as the author of the Queen Vernita educational series, including the special Recognition Champion Award from Conquering Disabilities with Film Festival. She holds a PhD in curriculum and instruction, a master's degree, and a clear credential in moderate severe disabilities, and a bachelor's degree in human development. Dr. Menge has been teaching students with severe cognitive delays for over 20 years, lecturer and mentor. She has 3 children and 6 beautiful grandchildren and lives in Southern California. Well, welcome to the show today.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
My
I'm
gosh.
excited.
Yes, so it's wonderful. You are like right in between. You look like you are Santa's helper.
Yes, this is my series,
Okay.
and it's I stopped counting at 41. So after that, I won a lot of awards from the film festivals. So when I get a chance, I'm going to write everything down and find out how many awards the series has actually won. But the series is based on my adventures and my family and my friends and my students, which is how I won the Conquering Disabilities with Film Festival Award. And it just started as an assignment in my class, getting my credential, and it has blossomed into an educational series. We just finished 2 screenplays and have entered them in film festivals. And I just started this actually when I got divorced from a 27-year marriage and was trying to figure out what I should do, what do I do next? And so I published the first book, and this is what I'm doing.
Oh my God. It just seems like so fun. Are you like having so much fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but yes, I do a
Yeah.
lot of traveling, and it's just all based on my fun. And since it's Christmas,
Yes.
this one during the pandemic, I when I first started, I was gonna publish one book a year. That was like my goal. And then I got busy and things, and I couldn't do that. So during the pandemic, I caught up and I published 5 books actually.
Wow.
And this is one of them. And this is Queen Bernadettes' Magical Christmas Train Ride. And this is actually my grandson asleep in Santa's lap.
Wow.
And what we did is we took the train from Williams, Arizona to the Grand Canyon. There was 19 of us. This is my family. And they have a really neat train ride, and it has bandits that ride the horses, along the train, and they come on and they pretend to rob you. And so here, this is my grandson. The bandit was holding them up, and so my illustrator is able to take the actual pictures from our trips and makes them into the illustration. And so this one is pre-K to first grade. It talks about our train ride. This is my grandson looking out the window of the train. And so this page is on the trees that are around the Grand Canyon, and it has music. And then we also went to Santa's workshop in Flagstaff. And so that's what Santa's doing here. At the end, we talk about Santa Claus, and we actually, when we were done with the train, we went back, we put our pajamas on and went on the Polar Express. And so that's how the story ends, and that's why Santa's on the train. And then at the end, of course, baby Blake falls asleep in Santa's lap with the Queen.
Oh.
And so it was based on our adventure to the Grand Canyon.
So these are real life adventures that you
Yes.
put into books
Yes.
and make them magical.
Yes,
And
they're
tell them in a magical way.
yes. They're educational, but
Right.
they're put in a way that the children don't really know that they're learning.
Yeah.
And so it's based on the months of the year. So there's 12 months, and each month has a new friend and a new subject. And then it gives you 7 facts or activities for that subject. And I've integrated disabilities in the books. And it's just a child will be in the book, and they'll be doing something like one of the children is going to the Volcanic National Park.
Mm-hmm.
And he's teaching the Queen. He has a communication device because he's nonverbal. And he's teaching the Queen what his communication device is like. This is Connor. Now,
Okay.
Connor was one of my actual students. And
Wow.
this is his dad, Steve. And they're at the Volcanic National Park with the Queen. And he's teaching the Queen about his communication device and why he uses it. And so if a child's reading this book is on Kona, Hawaii. And they're reading the book and they're learning about volcanoes and sharks. And then they run across a child with a disability. And then they see the child on campus, and they have a communication device. They don't think, well, how come they get to play games? I don't get to have my iPad or my phone with me. Then they might understand that this is actually how the child's trying to communicate. And then they will try to communicate with the child through the iPad rather than teasing them or, being kind of jealous that they get to have their electronics. And so, I've just kind of integrated all of that into the adventures.
Yeah, I don't think, I've done so many shows, like 350 shows. I've never had anyone come with anything like this before. This is the first time, the way that you're presenting this. I think it's fabulous. It's very creative. It's healing, it's nurturing, it's exciting, it's fun, it's hard work.
Yes, but it's fun work. It's fun work.
Yeah. Wow. And so okay, you've got something else you want to pull out?
Yeah. Okay. This one was one of I think it was the third one I did. And this is actually my little brother. He's an astronomer at JPL.
Mhm.
So we wrote a book together. And when he was little, we called him Heathy Bean. His name is Heath. And he wanted to be the professor with the hair, and he has bunny slippers. And so this book, we're teaching all about astronomy. Now in here is Jake, and Jake has cerebral palsy.
No.
And Jake is the foster child of one of my friends. She was the assistant in my classroom for over 20 years. And see, he has his little bunny slippers and his hair. And so it's just teaching 7 things. And Jake is learning about the moon. So he's a child who's outside with the professor learning about the moon, but you're also learning about his disability. And so this child is Jeremy, and he was one of my students for like 13 years. He has Down syndrome, and his mom was one of our teachers. And so he's learning about the planets, but we're also learning a little bit about Down syndrome. Now, this is one of the books we just made into a screenplay, and we're going to be pitching it to Netflix. Well, my publisher is, not me.
Yeah.
But so that's what we're doing.
Well, I no wonder you won all these awards. This is like so awesome. You deserve it, with what it is that you're doing. I can see how helping and healing this is for, the education and what you're doing with the kids, how you're teaching them. This is also good for the adults that are reading it as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I've had adults like this one. I wrote this one on New Orleans. And I actually went, and if you go into my Facebook, it's Don Menge 1. I have albums for each one of the books, and you can see the actual pictures.
Okay.
And I actually just got back from a cruise up the Mississippi River. And we went into the bayou, and we went and played. I actually held a baby alligator, and that's all in here. This is a real picture.
Wow.
And so this one is 6th grade. It talks about slavery and plantations and the Underground Railroad. So it has more information in it for more mature children or adults. But I actually had someone who bought the book. It was an adult who was going to go to New Orleans, and she bought the book to read it before she went. It has the French Quarter in it. And so the books are actually good for children and adults.
Yeah, I love that so much. So your Facebook is Don, what is it?
Don Menge 1.
Don Menge 1, and people can see the pictures. I actually like that very much because you can go and you can get the book and show up in a place ahead of time, learning a little bit about the place because you're telling the story from when you went there. So now, as far as even your books, like the books are fun and they're exciting. And so there's a whole nother way, like if you ever wanted to teach and train other people how to create books like this, because they're very different, because you've got the illustrations and the way you're bringing that all in and the colored pages and all of that. It's all fun stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So where can people find out more about, do you have a website too?
Yes, Dr. Don Menge. My publisher is Rushmore Press. My Facebook is Don Menge 1. I have an Instagram, Don Menge, and a Twitter, Queen Vernita.
So yeah, what is the Queen? Give us what is
Oh,
Queen?
The Queen is my grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandmother's name was Vernita, so I named the series. The original book that I wrote, I actually wrote about my students because it was in my credentialing class. So it's called Queen Victoria. But when I decided to publish it, I called it Queen Vernita and named it after my grandmother. And this is the first book. And she's just getting visitors and they're coming to her castle. This is my niece, Dana. And they're doing 7 activities during the week. And then each month they have a new friend. And the first one I put in the children in our family. So that, I thought, well, they're not going to, they won't be unhappy. They're children. They don't know. This is my niece, Hannah, and she's camping. And then I started winning. I won a first place in the Evie Award. It's out of Colorado, and started getting interviews right away. And people are asking me, well, what's next? And I'm like, I don't know. So this is what's next.
Well, these are wonderful. It's the holiday season, y'all. So these are wonderful holiday gifts for you to go get for other people and support, for stocking stuffers or, just gifts for people. So they're fun. Thank you so much, Don, for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time. Very inspirational. Like I said, I haven't seen anything like this before. And, stay in contact with us. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. We'll see you again next time. Take good care. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.
Hey everyone, come check out this new app I'm featured in. You're going to look for KS Media Group app in the App Store, download it, launch and create your free account, get the free ebook. You're going to find me under directories. Click on resources of the world's best influencers. Find me at the top of the list and take advantage of evolving your daily practice, cultivating deep inner peace, growing in love with my YouTube channel, and all the ways that you can connect with me now on social media and other ways as well. There's also a long list of live podcasts there that are listed under the directories to help you to live your best life now. Go and hurry, get the KS Media app, go to the App Store and download it now.